The city of Virelia stretched across the horizon like a shining jewel. Towers of crystal and metal reflected the pale light of three suns, casting bright streaks across the sky. Floating vehicles zipped between buildings, their hums mixing with the strange calls of alien creatures in the air. For most of its residents, Virelia was a marvel, a city of endless possibilities. But for Sarah, it had become a place of despair. Sarah had been injured in an accident. She did not even remember how it had happened. One moment she had been walking near a transport hub, and the next, she had slipped on a slick metal surface. She remembered the blinding flash of light, the sudden pain, and then the cold, hard ground under her body. She tried to move, but her limbs felt heavy and useless. Her breathing came in short, painful gasps. Around her, the city moved on as if she were invisible. Aliens of all shapes and sizes passed by, some staring briefly before continuing without a word. Finally, a group of alien medics arrived. They were tall and thin, with smooth, metallic-like skin and eyes that glowed faintly in the dim light. They examined her with cold precision. "This human is beyond saving," one of them said in a voice that sounded like wind passing through metal tubes. Another nodded, their long fingers moving in a precise mechanical motion. They took out a small device and scanned her body. A series of lights flashed, showing that her injuries were severe. "She will not survive our treatment," the first one said. "Leave her here." Sarah tried to speak, but her voice barely came out. "Please, help me." The aliens did not respond. Without another word, they turned and walked away, leaving her lying on the cold pavement. The city's noises seemed louder now, echoing around her in cruel mockery. She felt utterly alone. She tried to pull herself up, but her strength was gone. She closed her eyes, trying not to think about the cold, empty streets, the alien faces that had passed her by without care, or the pain that throbbed in every part of her body. She wanted to cry, but even that required more energy than she had. Minutes or maybe hours passed. The suns moved across the sky, casting long shadows that shifted and changed. Sarah's mind began to drift, and she wondered if she would ever see Earth again. She thought about her family, her friends, and the life she had left behind. Every thought made the pain worse, but also gave her a faint flicker of hope. She wanted to survive. Somehow she had to survive. Then she heard a sound that made her eyes open. It was faint at first, a low hum that grew louder. Then she saw him, Alex. He was a human, and his presence alone made her feel a little less lost. He moved quickly, scanning the streets, and then he saw her lying on the ground. His expression changed instantly from cautious to concerned. Without hesitation, Alex ran to her side. He knelt down, gently placing his hands under her arms. "Hey, are you okay?" he asked, though he could see the answer clearly. I don't know," she whispered. Alex glanced around. The aliens had already left, and the streets were busy with alien traffic and pedestrians. But he did not hesitate. He lifted her carefully, making sure not to hurt her more. Her weight was light, but her body was fragile, broken in ways that no human should have to endure. As he carried her, Sarah felt a strange mixture of relief and fear. Relief that someone cared, fear because she did not know where he would take her. She had no reason to trust anyone, especially in a city that had abandoned her. But something about Alex felt different. Alex ran to his ship, a small transport craft designed for quick travel between planets. It was not luxurious, but it was fast and sturdy, perfect for escaping the alien city unnoticed. He placed her gently on a seat and checked her injuries. Cuts, bruises, and broken bones were visible. He frowned. "They left you here," he said softly, almost to himself. "But I won't." He activated the ship, and it hummed to life. Lights flickered across the console, and the engines began to vibrate. Alex knew the journey ahead would not be easy. Virelia was heavily monitored, and leaving without proper clearance could draw attention. But he did not care. Sarah's life was more important than any rules the alien authorities had set. As the ship lifted off, Sarah's head rested on the seat, and she watched the city shrink beneath them. Towers gleamed, vehicles flew past, and alien pedestrians seemed like tiny moving dots. She felt a strange sadness for the city, for the place that had shown her so much beauty and yet so little compassion. "Where are you taking me?" she asked weakly. "Somewhere safe," Alex replied. "I know a place where you can get help. Not alien doctors, someone who actually cares." Sarah tried to smile, but it hurt too much. "Thank you," she whispered. The ship entered the stars, leaving Virelia behind. Alex kept a careful eye on the navigation, avoiding detection by patrols and automated sensors. Space travel was always dangerous, but he knew this mission was more important than any cargo or passenger he had ever transported. During the journey, Sarah drifted in and out of consciousness. Every so often, she would wake and see Alex checking the ship's instruments, his face calm but focused. She wanted to ask questions to know more about him, but she felt too weak. Still, just seeing him there so determined gave her a little hope. Alex spoke to her quietly when she was awake. "You're strong," he said. "Even if you don't feel it now, you are strong. Humans survive in ways others can't imagine. Don't give up." Sarah tried to respond, but she could only manage a faint nod. Somehow his words made her feel safer, like someone had taken her hand in a dark place and refused to let go. The journey was not simple. Alex navigated through asteroid fields that could have destroyed the ship with a single mistake. He avoided pirate raiders who patrolled the outskirts of known space. He even faced cosmic storms, great waves of radiation and energy that could have crippled any ship. Yet he never faltered. Every maneuver, every risk was calculated to keep Sarah alive. Through it all, Sarah began to notice something remarkable. Humans, even fragile ones like herself, had a way of surviving that no technology could replace. Alex did not have advanced alien powers, nor did he have the cold precision of the alien doctors who had left her behind. But he had determination, ingenuity, and most importantly, compassion. That was enough. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they approached a small, lush planet. It was nothing like Virelia. Its surface was covered in forests, rivers, and fields. Birds called from the treetops, and the air smelled clean and fresh. Alex's ship landed in a small clearing near a modest building. "This is it," he said softly. "The vet. She'll know what to do." Sarah looked at the building. It did not look like a hospital. There were no sterile white halls, no strange machines that glowed with alien light. Instead, it looked warm, welcoming, and alive. A garden surrounded it with small animals wandering freely. She could hear birds chirping and water flowing from a small fountain. Alex carried her to the entrance. A bell chimed as they entered, and a human-looking figure appeared. Dr. Morgan smiled warmly. "Ah, I see you've brought her." "Don't worry. We'll take care of her." Sarah felt a wave of relief she had not experienced in days. She was still in pain, still broken. But for the first time since the aliens had abandoned her, she felt safe. Alex placed her gently on a soft bed. Dr. Morgan began examining her, asking questions and taking careful notes. Sarah closed her eyes, letting the warmth of the room and the sound of a caring voice wash over her. For the first time, she realized something important. Humans may be fragile compared to the aliens of the galaxy, but they had something stronger than technology or precision: heart, compassion, the refusal to give up on those in need. And right now, that heart was keeping her alive. She opened her eyes and saw Alex watching her, not with pity but with quiet determination. She did not know how long it would take to heal, or what the future held. But she knew this much: she was no longer alone. And for the first time in days, Sarah felt hope. Alex had never flown a ship with a passenger so fragile before. Normally, his trips were quick and simple: cargo runs, deliveries, or transporting people between friendly planets. But this mission was different. Sarah was weak, injured, and completely dependent on him. Every movement, every turn, every change in speed could worsen her condition if he was not careful. The small transport craft hummed quietly as it moved through space. Outside, stars stretched into long streaks, evidence of the ship's fast travel. Alex adjusted the controls frequently, checking sensors for hazards and keeping an eye on the trajectory. He did not have much time. The longer they stayed near the alien city, the more likely they were to attract attention. Sarah lay on a cushioned seat in the back, wrapped in a blanket Alex had found on the ship. She was still pale and weak, her body bruised and broken from the fall. She barely had the strength to speak, but she tried. "Where? Are we going?" she asked, her voice barely audible. Alex glanced back at her. "A vet, someone who can help you," he said. "Not alien doctors. They left you outside because they didn't care. This place, it's different. They care." Sarah tried to smile, but it hurt too much. "Thank you," she whispered. Alex nodded, then returned his focus to the controls. He knew the journey ahead would not be easy. The space between Virelia and his home planet was filled with danger. Asteroid fields, pirate raiders, and cosmic storms could all threaten the ship. But he was determined. He would get her there no matter what. Hours passed, and Sarah drifted in and out of consciousness. Sometimes she would wake and see Alex adjusting the navigation controls. Other times she would hear him talking softly to himself, calculating their path through space. She found comfort in his voice, a human voice in a galaxy full of aliens who had shown her nothing but indifference. At one point, the ship approached an asteroid field. Large rocks floated in space, some small, some the size of buildings. Alex's eyes narrowed as he studied the sensors. He knew a single mistake could tear the ship apart. "Hold on," he said, more to himself than to Sarah. He maneuvered the ship carefully, weaving between the massive rocks. The engines hummed louder, the craft tilting and spinning as he guided it through. Sarah gripped the blanket around her, her knuckles white. She could feel the movement, the sudden jerks and shifts, but she trusted him. Minutes felt like hours, but finally they cleared the field. Alex exhaled deeply. "That's one danger down," he said softly. "One step closer to getting you help." Sarah managed a weak nod. "You are very brave," she whispered. Alex shook his head. "I'm not brave. I just can't leave someone like you behind." The rest of the journey was filled with small challenges. Pirate raiders patrolled the outer sectors looking for easy targets. Alex had to evade them using a combination of clever maneuvers and the ship's small stealth systems. Each time he held his breath, hoping the small craft would not be detected. Every time he succeeded, Sarah's relief was clear in the faint smile she gave him. During one quiet moment, Sarah asked, "Alex, why are you helping me? You barely know me." He looked back at her, his expression serious. "Because it's the right thing to do," he said. "Humans survive not because of strength or weapons. We survive because we care, because we refuse to give up on others. That's why I'm helping you." Sarah's eyes glistened with unshed tears. For the first time since the accident, she felt hope. Maybe she would survive after all. Maybe humans truly were different, capable of something aliens could not understand. As they passed through a section of space where cosmic storms were common, the ship shook violently. Lightning-like energy flashed across the void, and the sensors warned of turbulence. Alex gritted his teeth and adjusted the shields, steering the craft through pockets of calm and avoiding the worst of the storms. "Almost through," he muttered. "Just a little more." Sarah's head rested against the seat and she closed her eyes. She could feel the warmth of the ship, the quiet determination of her rescuer, and the subtle hum of life in the craft. It was not much, but it was more than she had felt in the alien city. Hours turned into a full day. Alex did not sleep. He monitored every system, every movement, every possibility. His only focus was Sarah and keeping her alive. He even prepared simple nutrient packs for her, helping her take small sips despite her weakness. Each sip, each tiny step forward was a victory. Finally, they approached the outskirts of Alex's home system. The planets glowed in the distance, familiar and welcoming. Sarah's eyes widened as she saw forests, rivers, and mountains, something completely different from the cold alien city she had left behind. "It's beautiful," she whispered. Alex smiled faintly. "You'll see it up close soon." As they descended into the atmosphere of the planet, the ship's systems adjusted for landing. Trees and rivers grew larger, colors sharper, and the air seemed to hum with life. Alex guided the craft to a small clearing near a modest building. "This is it," he said. "The vet. She'll know how to help you." Sarah looked at the building. It did not resemble a hospital or a clinic. There were no sterile walls, no glowing machines. Instead, it looked alive. Flowers and small plants surrounded it. Birds sang from the trees and small animals moved freely around the yard. She could hear water flowing from a fountain near the entrance. Alex carried her gently to the door. A bell chimed as they entered and a warm voice greeted them. "Ah, I see you've brought her," said Dr. Morgan, stepping forward. The human-looking vet had a kind smile and calm eyes. "Don't worry. We'll take care of her." Sarah felt a wave of relief. She had never imagined a place like this could exist. She was still in pain, still injured, but for the first time in days, she felt safe. She let herself relax slightly as Alex placed her on a soft bed. Dr. Morgan began examining her carefully, speaking in a calm, soothing tone. Alex stayed by her side, holding her hand and answering questions about what had happened. For Sarah, the simple act of someone listening, of someone caring, was almost more healing than the medical care itself. Over the next few hours, Alex learned about the vet's unusual methods. Dr. Morgan often used techniques inspired by animal care, believing that patience, observation, and gentle treatment could revive even the most serious injuries. Some of the methods seemed unconventional, but Alex trusted the vet. If anyone could help Sarah, it was this person. Sarah felt a warmth spreading through her chest, a mixture of relief and gratitude. She had been abandoned by those who should have cared for her, but now she had someone who refused to give up. Alex looked at her and smiled faintly. "You're going to make it," he said. "I promise." Even though she was exhausted, Sarah felt a flicker of hope. She had survived the aliens' indifference, the dangers of space, and her own pain. Now, with Alex and Dr. Morgan, she had a chance to recover fully. For the first time since the accident, Sarah felt that life could continue. She was no longer alone, no longer abandoned, and no longer without hope. The journey had been dangerous, but it had also shown her something incredible. The human spirit, when combined with compassion and courage, could overcome almost anything. As she closed her eyes, she whispered, "Thank you, Alex." Alex squeezed her hand gently. "No need to thank me," he said. "You just focus on getting better. That's enough." And for the first time in days, Sarah allowed herself to believe that she would survive, that she would heal, and that the human heart, compassionate, determined, and courageous, was something worth holding on to in a galaxy that often forgot what it meant to care. Sarah woke slowly, blinking against the soft light of the room. The bed beneath her felt unusually comfortable, soft and warm, unlike the cold, hard surfaces of the alien city where she had been left alone. She tried to move her arms and legs carefully. There was still pain, but it was less intense than yesterday. Her body felt supported, as if it could finally begin to heal. Dr. Morgan, the vet who had taken her in, noticed she was awake. "Good morning," the doctor said gently. "How are you feeling?" Sarah struggled to find words. "Better, I think," she whispered. "That's a start," Dr. Morgan replied with a small smile. "You've been through a lot, but your body is strong. Humans are amazing that way." Sarah glanced at Alex, who was sitting beside her bed, watching her closely. He smiled faintly as if to reassure her. "See? I told you humans are resilient," he said softly. She nodded weakly, feeling gratitude welling up in her chest. She could hardly believe she had been abandoned in that alien city and had survived. Now, surrounded by people who genuinely cared, she felt something she had almost forgotten: hope. Dr. Morgan began examining her more closely. Unlike the alien doctors who had left her for dead, this vet moved carefully, speaking in a calm, patient tone. Every touch, every measurement was gentle, and Sarah could sense that this person truly wanted to help her, not just follow protocols. "Your injuries are serious, but nothing we can't manage," Dr. Morgan said after a moment. "Some of the fractures need careful support, and there are deep bruises we'll treat with herbal poultices. It's a combination of observation, patience, and careful care." Alex listened intently, fascinated. He had never seen medical care like this. The alien doctors had relied on cold, precise machines and advanced technology, declaring a human beyond saving. Here it was almost the opposite: care, patience, and attention to every small detail. Sarah's weak smile returned. "I never thought a vet could treat humans," she said quietly. Dr. Morgan chuckled softly. "Sometimes unconventional methods work best. Caring for animals teaches you patience, observation, and respect for life. Those qualities can work wonders for humans too." Alex nodded. "I can see that. It's amazing." The next few days passed slowly, each one filled with small victories. Dr. Morgan's methods were unusual, but effective. They used gentle bandages, herbal salves, and a careful schedule of rest and light activity. Sarah's bruises began to fade, and her broken bones, while still fragile, were stabilizing under the vet's careful attention. Alex stayed with her as much as he could. He helped feed her, encouraged her to take short walks, and even read to her from books he brought aboard the ship before the journey. The conversations between them were simple yet meaningful. They shared stories of Earth, of the people they had known, and of the strange places they had visited. Each story brought a little comfort, a little distraction from the pain. One afternoon, Dr. Morgan suggested something unusual. "I want you to try something," the vet said. "It's a small exercise to help your muscles and coordination. It may feel strange, but it will help your recovery." Sarah hesitated. I'm not sure I can, Alex encouraged her. You can. I'll be here. We'll do it together. Together, they followed the vet's instructions. At first, Sarah struggled. Her movements were awkward, her body uncoordinated from days of immobility. But Alex's calm encouragement and the vet's careful guidance made it easier. Slowly, she began to regain strength and confidence. Each small movement felt like a victory, proof that she could survive, proof that humans were more resilient than even she had realized. As the days passed, Sarah began to notice another change. She was learning to trust again. In the alien city, trust had been dangerous. She had been abandoned and left alone. But here, with Alex and Dr. Morgan, she felt safe. She could ask questions, voice concerns, and even make small choices about her care. That trust, she realized, was almost as important as the medical treatment itself. One evening, as the sun set over the trees outside the vet clinic, Sarah and Alex sat together on a bench near the small garden. Birds sang in the fading light, and the soft sound of water from the fountain added to the peaceful scene. "Alex," Sarah said softly, "I don't think I've ever met anyone like you." He looked at her, surprised. "Why do you say that?" "Because you didn't give up. You didn't leave me like everyone else did. You risked everything to help me. I don't think aliens or anyone else would have done that." Alex shook his head. "I didn't do anything special. I just cared. Humans care even when it's hard. That's what makes us strong. That's what keeps us alive in a galaxy that often forgets what compassion means." Sarah thought about that. She had seen cruelty, indifference, and cold logic in the alien city. She had also seen fear and danger during the journey through space. But she had also seen courage, patience, and care, qualities that seemed rare yet powerful. I think I understand now," she said. "Humans can survive in ways aliens can't, not just because of strength or technology, but because of heart." Alex smiled. "Exactly. That's what I've been trying to show you." As she spoke, a small animal, a furry creature with large, gentle eyes, wandered into the garden. It approached Sarah cautiously, sniffing the air. She reached out slowly, and the creature nuzzled her hand. She laughed softly, a sound she had not heard herself make in days. "See?" Alex said. "Even they know when someone is kind." Sarah smiled, feeling a warmth in her chest. The vet's clinic, the small animals, the peaceful garden, and Alex's presence all combined to create a safe space where she could begin to heal. Not just physically, but emotionally. She felt her fear and pain slowly fading, replaced by hope and determination. Dr. Morgan continued to guide her recovery, introducing small exercises to strengthen her muscles, light therapy to reduce pain, and gentle routines to help her body adjust. Each day, Sarah felt a little stronger, a little more capable. She could sit longer, walk farther, and even begin to imagine a future beyond pain and fear. One day, as she practiced a balance exercise under the vet's watchful eye, she nearly fell. Alex caught her just in time, holding her steady. "You're getting stronger," he said, his eyes shining with encouragement. "I feel it," Sarah admitted, laughing softly. "I didn't think I could ever move like this again." "You can," Alex said. "Humans can do amazing things when they refuse to give up." Sarah realized he was right. She had survived the aliens' abandonment, the dangers of space travel, and the physical pain of her injuries. Now, under Dr. Morgan's care and with Alex's support, she was reclaiming her strength. She felt a sense of pride and wonder at the resilience of her own body. As the days continued, Sarah's bond with Alex grew stronger. They shared quiet moments, laughter, and even small arguments over trivial things. Each moment reminded her that humans were not just survivors. They were compassionate, determined, and capable of deep connection. One evening, as the stars began to appear in the night sky, Sarah looked out the window of the clinic. The galaxy stretched endlessly before her, full of unknown dangers and wonders. She thought about the alien city, the doctors who had abandoned her, and the journey that had brought her here. She felt a quiet gratitude for Alex and Dr. Morgan, for the care and kindness that had saved her. And she felt something else too, a determination to live fully, to embrace the strength within her and to never let anyone abandon her spirit again. Alex sat beside her, sensing her thoughts. "You're going to be okay," he said softly. "You're human. You survive. You adapt. And you have heart." Sarah nodded, feeling the truth of his words deep inside her. For the first time since the accident, she believed in herself. She believed in the strength of humans, in the power of compassion, and in the possibility of a future beyond fear and pain. The journey was not over. There were still challenges ahead: recovery, adjustment, and the uncertainty of the galaxy around them. But Sarah knew she was no longer alone. She had allies who cared, a place that nurtured her, and a heart that refused to give up. And with that, Sarah took a deep breath, ready to face whatever came next, knowing that humans with courage and compassion could survive anything, even the cold indifference of the alien city that had once left her for dead. Days passed, and Sarah's recovery continued. Each morning she awoke to the soft sunlight streaming through the windows of Dr. Morgan's clinic. The small animals in the garden chirped and moved around freely, creating a peaceful rhythm that eased her mind. With each passing day she felt stronger. Her bruises faded, her broken bones began to stabilize, and her muscles gradually regained some of their lost strength. Alex stayed close, helping her with simple exercises and guiding her through movements that tested her coordination. They often walked in the small garden outside the clinic. At first, Sarah could only take a few steps without needing support, but now she could walk longer distances with confidence. Each step reminded her of how far she had come since the day she had been abandoned in Viralia. Dr. Morgan observed her carefully during these walks. "You're making remarkable progress," the vet said. "Humans are resilient. Their determination and adaptability are extraordinary." Sarah smiled. "I never realized how strong we can be," she said. "Even when everything seems lost, humans find a way." Alex nodded. "It's what makes us different. The galaxy underestimates humans because they focus on power, technology, or logic. But our strength comes from heart, courage, and the refusal to give up." One afternoon, Dr. Morgan suggested Sarah try something new. "I want you to accompany Alex outside the clinic today," the vet said. "Not far, just to experience the world beyond the walls. It's important for your recovery to reconnect with the environment and regain confidence." Sarah hesitated. "Outside? What if something goes wrong?" Alex smiled reassuringly. "We'll take it slow. You're ready for this. Trust me." Taking a deep breath, Sarah allowed herself to stand. Alex supported her, guiding her carefully as they walked out into the garden. The sunlight warmed her face, and the air smelled fresh and clean. Birds flew overhead, and small animals scurried around them. Sarah felt a strange mixture of fear and wonder. She had spent so long confined to pain and recovery that the outside world felt both intimidating and exciting. As they walked, Alex explained simple ways to navigate obstacles. "See that tree?" he said. "Use it for support if you need to. And take your time. There's no rush." Sarah followed his instructions, noticing how careful he was to encourage her without making her feel weak. Every step she took was a small triumph, and she began to regain confidence in her body. After a while, they reached a small clearing where the sunlight poured through the branches. Sarah stopped for a moment, taking in the beauty of the landscape. "It's amazing," she said softly. Alex smiled. "It's easy to forget there's life outside technology and alien cities. Nature has a way of reminding us that life can be simple, peaceful, and full of hope." Sarah nodded, feeling a sense of calm she had not experienced in weeks. She realized how disconnected she had been from the world around her. The alien city, with its towering buildings and cold, indifferent medical systems, had left her feeling isolated and helpless. Here, in this small clearing, she felt alive again. Over the next few days, Alex helped her explore more of the area around the clinic. They discovered small streams, patches of flowers, and even hidden nooks where animals gathered. Sarah laughed as she watched a small group of creatures play in the water, splashing and tumbling over each other. She had forgotten what it felt like to experience joy. Dr. Morgan continued to guide her recovery with a careful balance of rest, exercise, and observation. The vet explained that humans often healed faster than aliens when their spirits were strong. "Your body follows your mind," Dr. Morgan said. "When you feel hope and determination, your recovery accelerates." Sarah thought about that as she walked with Alex. Every step was a test of strength and courage. Every moment outside the clinic reminded her that humans had a unique ability to endure and adapt, even in the harshest conditions. One evening, while sitting by the small fountain in the garden, Sarah asked Alex about his life. "Have you always helped people?" she asked. Alex shook his head. "Not always. I've had my share of missions and jobs where survival mattered more than compassion. But helping you, It reminded me why humans are special. It's not about technology or power. It's about care, courage, and refusing to give up on others. Sarah listened, understanding more clearly than ever. Humans survived not because they were the strongest, but because they had heart. Their compassion allowed them to face challenges that logic, strength, or advanced technology alone could not solve. As Sarah's strength improved, she also began to think about the alien city she had left behind. She remembered the cold indifference of the doctors, the pain of being abandoned, and the fear of being alone. But she also realized that humans were capable of turning despair into action, weakness into courage, and fear into determination. One morning, Dr. Morgan suggested a new step in her recovery. "You're strong enough now to try more active exercises," the vet said. "I want you to help care for the small animals in the clinic. It will test your coordination, patience, and confidence," Sarah agreed, eager to challenge herself. She learned to feed, groom, and care for the animals under Dr. Morgan's guidance. Each small task strengthened her muscles, honed her coordination, and reminded her that she could take responsibility and contribute, even in her fragile state. Alex watched her work, impressed. "Look at you," he said. "You're doing more than surviving. You're thriving," Sarah laughed softly. "It feels good to be useful again." The experience also brought them closer. Sarah and Alex shared quiet moments of conversation, laughter, and reflection. They talked about human resilience, the differences between humans and aliens, and the importance of compassion in a galaxy often filled with indifference. Sarah realized that the journey had not just healed her body, it had strengthened her mind and spirit as well. One afternoon, a small challenge tested Sarah's progress. A young animal had wandered into a dangerous area near the clinic. Sarah noticed immediately and acted without hesitation. She carefully approached the animal, using the techniques Dr. Morgan had taught her, and guided it back to safety. Alex watched proudly. "You handled that perfectly," he said. "You didn't panic. You used your mind, your skills, and your heart. That's the strength I've been talking about." Sarah smiled, feeling a sense of pride and accomplishment. She realized that her recovery was about more than physical healing. It was about rebuilding her confidence, learning to trust herself, and embracing the strength that humans naturally possessed. As the days turned into weeks, Sarah continued to regain her independence. She could walk without support, perform tasks for the animals, and even assist in small repairs around the clinic. Each achievement reminded her of the resilience humans possessed, and each moment reinforced her determination to live fully and courageously. Alex continued to support her, not by doing everything for her, but by encouraging her to take responsibility, make choices, and trust her instincts. He reminded her that strength was not measured by how much one could carry alone, but by how one could survive, adapt, and thrive even when abandoned or challenged. One evening, as the sun set over the trees, Sarah and Alex walked to a hill overlooking the clinic and the surrounding forest. The sky was painted in shades of pink and gold, and the air was filled with the quiet sounds of nature. "I never thought I'd see the world like this again," Sarah said softly. "You deserve to," Alex replied. "You've survived so much. You've shown that humans can endure more than aliens or anyone else could imagine, and now you're thriving." Sarah looked at him, her eyes filled with gratitude and determination. "I want to keep living, Alex. I want to use this strength. Not just for me, but to prove that humans are capable of more than anyone expects." Alex smiled. "That's the spirit. That's what makes us human." As the stars began to appear in the night sky, Sarah felt a sense of hope and purpose she had never known before. She had survived abandonment, danger, and injury. She had found compassion, care, and support in unexpected places. And she had discovered something even more important. The human spirit, with its courage, determination, and heart, could thrive even in the coldest, most indifferent corners of the galaxy. The journey was far from over. There would be more challenges, more uncertainties, and more obstacles. But Sarah now faced them with strength, confidence, and an understanding of the power that lay within her. Humans could survive, adapt, and overcome, and Sarah was living proof of that truth. She turned to Alex, who had become not just a rescuer, but a friend, a guide, and a witness to her recovery. "Thank you," she said softly. "For everything." Alex shook his head. "You don't need to thank me. You survived because you're human. You had heart, courage, and determination. I just helped you see it." Sarah smiled, feeling the truth of his words deep inside her. She had been abandoned, left for dead, and faced unimaginable challenges. Yet here she was, healed, strong, and ready to face whatever came next. And in that moment, she understood something powerful. Humans were capable of surviving anything, not because of technology, power, or advanced medicine, but because of heart, courage, and the refusal to give up. That was the true strength of humanity, and Sarah was living proof. The morning sun rose slowly over the forest surrounding Dr. Morgan's clinic. Its light streamed through the windows, filling the room with warmth and calm. Sarah woke feeling stronger than ever. Her body was no longer weak or trembling with pain. The bruises that had once covered her arms and legs were gone, and her muscles had regained their strength. For the first time in weeks, she felt capable of moving through the world freely, without fear. Alex was already awake, preparing breakfast in the small kitchen area. When Sarah walked in, steady and confident, he looked up and smiled. "Good morning," he said. "Looks like someone is ready to face the day." Sarah smiled back. "I am," she said softly. "I feel alive," Alex nodded. "That's good to hear. You've come a long way." Over the next few hours, Sarah assisted Dr. Morgan with the clinic's daily tasks. She helped feed the animals, check on patients, and even tidy the small medical rooms. Her movements were confident and precise, a stark contrast to the fragile, injured girl who had first arrived weeks ago. Dr. Morgan watched her closely, impressed. "You've recovered remarkably well," the vet said. "Your body and mind are strong, but more than that, your spirit has returned. That is what matters most." Sarah nodded. "I understand now. Strength isn't just about the body. It's about determination, courage, and refusing to give up, even when the world seems against you." Alex smiled proudly. "Exactly. And that's why humans survive even when others doubt them. You've shown that clearly." After finishing the morning tasks, Alex suggested a walk through the forest beyond the clinic. "It's time to explore more," he said. "You've grown strong enough to see the world around us." Sarah agreed, feeling eager to experience the world beyond the clinic. Together they stepped into the forest, the sunlight filtering through the leaves and creating patterns on the ground. Birds chirped and small animals darted through the underbrush. Sarah inhaled deeply, feeling the fresh air fill her lungs. She realized how long it had been since she had felt truly alive. As they walked, Alex pointed out different plants and animals. "Humans can learn from the world around them," he said. "We adapt, survive, and find solutions even in the hardest conditions. That's why we're special." Sarah listened carefully, observing the forest with new eyes. Every tree, every stream, every animal seemed to teach a lesson about resilience, adaptability, and life. She realized that her own survival mirrored what she saw around her. Even after hardship, life found a way to continue, to thrive, and to grow stronger. During their walk, they came across a small stream with crystal clear water. Sarah knelt down to touch it, feeling the coolness on her hands. She watched fish swim beneath the surface, moving quickly and skillfully through the current. She thought about her own journey, the danger she had faced, the injuries she had endured, and the care that had brought her back from the brink of death. Alex noticed her thoughtful expression. "What are you thinking about?" he asked. Sarah smiled faintly. "I'm thinking about how humans can survive anything, just like these fish in the stream. They move through challenges, avoid danger, and keep going. That's how I survive too, with help, determination, and courage." Alex nodded. "Exactly. And now you're stronger than ever. You're ready to face anything the galaxy throws at you." As they continued, Sarah noticed a small clearing ahead. In the center stood a broken piece of machinery, a relic of some old human expedition. She recognized the type immediately. "This is a communication device," she said. "It must be decades old. Someone left it here and it stopped working a long time ago." Alex looked at it curiously. "Do you think you can fix it?" Sarah hesitated, then nodded. "I think so. Humans are clever. We figure things out, even when it seems impossible." She examined the device carefully, noting the damaged circuits and frayed wires. Using tools Alex had brought with them, she began to work. Her hands moved confidently, repairing broken parts, reconnecting wires, and adjusting components. Alex watched, impressed by her skill and determination. Hours passed as she worked tirelessly. Sweat dotted her forehead, but she did not give up. Finally, the device hummed to life, sending a small pulse of light across the clearing. Sarah stepped back, smiling. "It's working," she said proudly. Alex grinned. "That's amazing. You did it. Sarah looked at the device, then back at Alex. It's proof, isn't it? She said softly. Humans can survive, adapt, and solve problems that others think are impossible. Even when abandoned, even when injured, we find a way. Alex nodded. Exactly. And that's why I knew you could recover. That's why I knew you'd survive. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink, Sarah and Alex walked back toward the clinic. She felt a deep sense of pride and accomplishment. She had faced death, abandonment, and injury, and yet she had survived. She had learned to trust herself, to rely on human ingenuity, and to embrace the strength of the human spirit. Back at the clinic, Dr. Morgan greeted them. I see you've been exploring, the vet said with a smile. And judging by your expression, you've learned something valuable. Sarah nodded. I have. Humans survive not because we are the strongest or the smartest, but because we care, we adapt, and we refuse to give up. Even when others abandon us, we find a way. Dr. Morgan smiled warmly. Exactly. That is what I've been trying to show you. Your recovery is a testament to the resilience of humans. That night, Sarah lay in bed reflecting on everything that had happened. She thought about the alien city that had left her for dead, the journey through space with Alex, and the care she had received at the clinic. She realized that humans were capable of remarkable things, not because of machines or technology, but because of heart, courage, and determination. Alex sat nearby, reading quietly. He glanced at her and smiled. You've come a long way, Sarah. I'm proud of you. Sarah returned the smile. I couldn't have done it without you. You showed me that humans are more than just fragile bodies in a dangerous galaxy. You showed me the strength of the human spirit. Alex shook his head. I just helped you see it. The strength was always there. Humans survive because we refuse to give up, because we care, and because we act when others won't. Sarah nodded, understanding fully. For the first time in her life, she felt truly empowered. She was alive, strong, and capable. She had survived against the odds, and she had discovered the power of human courage and compassion. The next morning, Sarah prepared to leave the clinic. She had regained full strength, and she was ready to return to the wider galaxy. Dr. Morgan packed a small bag with supplies, and Alex checked the ship, making sure everything was ready for the journey ahead. Before leaving, Sarah turned to Dr. Morgan. Thank you, she said sincerely, for everything. You didn't just heal me, you showed me what it means to be human. Dr. Morgan smiled. You've learned well. Now take that strength, that courage, and that heart out into the galaxy. Humans survive, adapt, and thrive. Never forget it. Alex helped her aboard the ship. As they lifted off, Sarah looked down at the forest below, the place where she had recovered, learned, and grown stronger. She felt a deep sense of gratitude, not just for her own survival, but for the resilience of the human spirit that had carried her through every challenge. As they entered space, Alex set the course for her home planet. Ready? He asked. Sarah nodded, confident and calm. More than ever, the ship glided smoothly through the stars, carrying them toward new adventures. Sarah felt a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that humans could survive, adapt, and overcome anything, even the coldest indifference of an alien city. And as the stars stretched into long streaks outside the windows, Sarah whispered quietly, more to herself than anyone else, humans endure, humans survive, and I am one of them. Alex glanced at her, smiling. That's right, and you're living proof. Together they moved forward, leaving behind the pain, fear, and abandonment of the past. Ahead lay a galaxy full of challenges and possibilities, but Sarah was ready. She was strong, determined, and alive, a true testament to the power of the human spirit. And in that moment, Sarah understood something profoundly simple yet extraordinary. Humans survive not because the universe favors them, but because they refuse to be defeated. They act when others hesitate. They care when others abandon, and they endure no matter how impossible the odds. In a galaxy full of indifference, humans stood out, not for their technology, not for their strength, but for their heart. And Sarah, having survived what others could not, had become a living example of that truth.